Hey guys, welcome to Back to Light Science Studios. Once again, I'm Sam Terrell, and this week on Photshop Phives, we're going to be doing sky replacements. Alright guys, thanks for joining me again this week. Today we're going to be talking about how to do sky replacements, and specifically how to add clouds. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Here we've got an image from one of my favorite family shoots a couple years ago, and while we have a couple clouds in the sky, it's a little barren, and I'd like to get a little more even coverage of clouds. So we're going to be using a technique today called channel mask. And we're going to make a channel mask of this image, and then we'll use that to help us keep the sky right where we want it. Alright, so just real quick, this is kind of a before and after of what we're going for, and I'm going to show you step by step how we achieve that. Alright, so first thing we want to do is we want to separate the family from the sky. We want to separate the foreground, the bottom part of the image from the top part of the image. And it can be a little tricky to use paths or any other type of selection method to get in between all the nooks and crannies of the people, around the light fixtures, and especially between the trees and plants. So we're going to use channel masks, and to do that we're going to go to our channels. Now I've already made one here, but I'm going to show you how we made it. Basically what you want to do is click down the channels, and we're looking for the channel that gives us the most amount of contrast between the sky and everything else. So red, meh, it's a little bit grayscale. Green, that's a little bit better. We've got people and everything a little darker and the sky a little lighter. And then blue, I think that's going to be our best bet. We've got a lighter sky and everything else is a little darker than in the other channels. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the blue channel, and we're going to say duplicate channel. You can name it whatever you want. Blue copy 2 is fine for this one. And this is our blue copy 2. From here we're going to go to image, adjustments, and curves. We're going to adjust the curves to make the difference even bigger. We want more contrast, we want as much contrast as we can get. So we're going to make those darks dark, we're going to make that sky and those brights really bright, and just kind of play around with it like that as much as we can. Now once you get it to the point where you can't really go any further with it, you can just hit OK. And now we're going to make some more fine-tuned adjustments with our dodge and burn tool. So we're going to go over here to our dodge and burn tool. I'm going to keep it on dodge, or sorry, burn. And what we can do is by holding down the Alt key or Option key on a Mac, you can switch between dodging and burning. So right now I have it on burn, and if I start using it, you'll see it does in fact burn. But if I hold down the Option or Alt key, it will start to dodge. So you don't actually have to go over here and change back and forth. You can just use that Alt key to switch back. Alright, so let's take care of the sky first. We want to make sure that this is set on highlights, 100%. And this makes it fairly easy to just start, holding down that Alt key because we want to make sure we are dodging. This makes it fairly easy to make sure that sky is completely white. So we're going to go through, and the nice thing about using the dodge and burn tool for masks is you can see that because I have it set to highlights and these light fixtures here are certainly not highlights, I can actually go straight over them and it's not going to dodge the lights. So I can get all around them over here. Maybe got a little bit there, so I can just undo that and be a little more careful if I need to. But for the most part, I can go through the plants and it's not going to affect anything that's not a highlight. So I can kind of go right around here, and that's looking pretty good. I think I got most everything completely white around there. Now what we're going to do is switch it to shadows, and we're going to start burning in the foreground and the bottom area of this image. We want to completely blacken this out. Now the other thing that we can do here is we don't have to use the dodge and burn tool. If there's a large area that we know we want to change to black or white, we can just switch to the brush itself. In this case, I'll switch to the brush, make sure it's on black, and just paint it in. This whole area I know I'm going to want to be black, so I'm just going to start painting. And basically that's what we do. Now when we get to the skin tones and the people, you can start off with the dodge and burn tool, set to mid-tones. And we can go in here and start doing that, start burning them in. Now, you might have to click, or if you're using a Wacom tablet like I am, pick the pen up and keep tapping on it to really get it to go all the way black. Because if you just push down and start painting, it'll only get so dark. So you have to pick up the pen again and do it again. So you kind of do it like this to get it completely black. You can hear my pen clicking there. Okay. And you can do that, but you can also switch back to the paintbrush and simply start painting in black as well. Now, you want to keep this fairly precise, but it doesn't need to be 100% perfect. Alright, so once you get the mask done, it looks something like this. Okay, and again, you can see I have some soft edges and it's not completely perfect, but that's good enough for our purposes. And what we're going to do is, using the one I did earlier, we are going to make a selection of that. So we're going to hold Command and on a Mac, Control on a PC, and I'm going to tap this, and it's going to make a selection of my mask. Then I can go back to my layers. We want to make sure we reselect RGB. Now I can go back to my layers, and what we're going to do is we're going to grab our clouds that we want to drop in. Now these are the clouds that I found that I wanted to use. And when you're picking clouds, you want to try to pick clouds that you've captured at a similar perspective and also with similar lighting. Now the image that we're working with has backlighting where the sun is down behind the bleachers here. So I found this image which also has backlighting, the sun's back this way, so it works out really well. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in here and just stretch it to the edges so it fits perfectly. And then we'll go back and get our selection one more time. So again, holding Control on a PC or Command on a Mac, click the blue channel, we've got our selection, and then what we're simply going to do is mask the sky to that. Alright, now already it's looking pretty good. Now if we were to zoom in, you'd see that we do have some edge issues, and we don't want that. Okay, so we're actually going to switch this to overlay, and what we're going to do is we want to finesse this a little bit more. First of all, these clouds here are just a little bit out of place with our new clouds, so I want to get rid of those. And because we have the channel mask, it actually makes it very easy. What we can do is again go back to our mask, our channel. We can click on that to make our selection, and we want to duplicate up the layer with just the foreground showing. So I'm going to invert this, and I'm going to do Command or Control J if you're on a PC, and now we have a layer with just the foreground. So now what we can do is we can take the background layer, and I will show you just the background layer, there it is, and I can use the stamp tool to clone it, or I can use the patch tool, which is one of my favorites, to simply circle this. And the first thing we could try is just a simple content aware fill and see how that works. Not too bad. Now what we want to do is get rid of that line, so we'll just do this and bring it over, and then we want to kind of get rid of this area where it's kind of these hard lines, so I'll just bring that over there. Gets rid of them just fine. There it is. Now I know that looks a little weird, and we're like, hey, we just lost our light, but remember we just cloned this up, so when we turn on this other layer, you don't even know. Now we do have this little area, so we're just going to clone that out. We can use our stamp tool and just kind of clone that out of there. Okay, so there, you wouldn't even know. The cloud's gone, and we've got a nice even spread of clouds across our whole sky. As you zoom in, you can see that the areas around the hair, you wouldn't even know that the sky has been dropped in because it's the same as the original image. There's the original image, there's what the new clouds dropped in, and we've got our clouds. So I hope that's been helpful for you today, guys. I really appreciate you hanging out. Please, it would help me out a lot if you subscribe and make sure you hit that little bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Please give this video a like if you found it useful, and we will see you next time.
Comfy yet ultra supportive material called hyperelastic polymer cradle those unfertilized chickies. Purple's unique design cradles your pressure points and redistributes support to the rest of your body for maximum comfort and support. Get the best rest of your life on a super sciencey, crazy comfy